Hi Ben, good to see you this afternoon.
Hi.
Ben, we've been chatting a little bit over the last few months about a new Friday night sort of worship evening. What's in your thinking behind that conversation that we've been having?
So we've been, obviously in the last 12 months, we've been looking across BCCs at the whole idea of going more missional and becoming more intentional and a lot more active in the way that we're trying to get into our communities and make Jesus more known. I think the thought behind these Friday night kind of gatherings is the idea that actually while we're doing all these great things that are great in and of themselves, unless the presence of God and encounter with God is really the driving force behind that actually we're kind of just acting. We're kind of just doing actions that, but we want the presence of God and God to be the one that's driving them forward. So the idea is that we can have a place to kind of meet with Him and just to take time, just to really search His heart for the people that we're longing to reach, but also search His heart for us, and to just take time to meet with Him and let Him set our direction. So that's really the thought behind it.
Brilliant. So it's sort of somehow capturing this sense that God in God's heart is mission, and if we're to be missional, we need to be touching the heart of God. Yeah. Is there a little phrase that you thought of that maybe captures kind of the essence of what you're after with those evenings?
Yeah, I guess kind of, because what we're trying to do is we want to move forward, don't we? And we want to be moving forward and impacting people in a powerful way. But I guess it's the idea of like the presence of God almost, and these evenings almost like being the boiler room of the work that we're doing, like the engine room behind everything else. That like you've got so much going on, but actually right at the core of that, right in the boiler room, the engine room, we really want the presence of God to be that. So.
And why do you think it's particularly relevant for us as Basingstoke community churches?
So I think on Sunday mornings when we've got our Sunday gatherings where we're meeting, but obviously in those Sunday mornings there's so many different things going on. There's notices, there's having to get away from the building by a certain time, there's kids work, there's so many different things that we're trying to, that can kind of impact on time and so I think the thought behind the Friday night is just to have a place where we can have this uncomplicated time of just meeting with God, where we can just linger for as long as we need to linger and have the freedom to really go where we feel God's leading without other factors having to be incorporated into that. So that's really the thought, I think. Yeah.
Brilliant. That sounds really good. Really looking forward to that. If you want to join us on those evenings, the first one is the 24th of January, so Friday night. It'll be from 8 o'clock till probably around about 10 o'clock up at the URC at the top of town. We've invited Carl Wills to be with us on that evening, still waiting to hear. But it is that opportunity to linger in the presence of God, to draw from His heart, that actually we take His presence and His heart into all the mission stuff we're doing. So please come.